Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Today is March the 8th. Tons of NBA action on the board for today. We're going to jump right into it. Yesterday, 1-0 on the official play that I gave out yesterday, which was the under between the Golden State Warriors and Oklahoma City Thunder. Started off pretty fast-paced, but it slowed down. I think they finished like 204. So under 219.5 was a winner. Hopefully we can keep things going, man. The short list, I think about break even on the short list. Maybe a play under break even. But there was a few things I talked about that cashed, a few things I talked about that didn't. Regardless of that, let's jump into it for today, man. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys, the NBA slate was great for you. 10-game slate for today. Let's jump into it. So first up, I don't really have time to go through a lot of comments today, but I'll try to get through a couple real quick. Yeah. Let's see. Rick says you went 6-1 like that. What's up, Algina? Just let's find some bangers today. Tommy says 13-1. My last 14 team total bets. 24-14 overall March. Okay, like to hear that. Ricardo says, what's up, Chris? It was good seeing you on J Money Show. Love the way y'all bounce back around different looks on the game. Yeah, Jay's a gem, man. Love Jay. Tommy says he likes the under. We'll talk about it. Cavs, Knicks over, and Knicks over. We'll talk about that. Nets were plus 550, and Detroit talked about, just not respecting the game is what JB Bigstaff said yesterday after they lost, and on the second leg of a back-to-back. 3 straight losses for Detroit, first time all season. All right, let's jump into it. So we'll start off with Jackson, AI Sports Betting Tool. I think I gave you guys a 2-0 hit yesterday with Jackson. The first one was on the Hawks. Jackson thought that the Hawks should have said the projected margin was minus 11.5, so the minus 6 was good money for Atlanta yesterday. And then the Utah Jazz said the line should have been no, this was not a good one. Jazz plus 10.5. They ended up losing the game and did not cover the spread, specifically just because of the fourth quarter. So 1-1 day for Jackson yesterday. So I asked Jackson today to go back in, and I kind of like this prompt. So I just asked Jackson to identify the top 3 ATS edges by comparing their projected margins to the current odds on the NBA slate, and tell me why. So Jackson likes the Dallas Mavericks plus the points in this spot. It says that the current line is minus 10 in favor of the Raptors, but the line should be 5. So 5-point edge here. Says the market is heavily overreacting to the Mavs' recent 6-game losing streak and the 7-22 record on the road, while Dallas is playing the second half of a back-to-back after the Boston loss, which they aren't. The efficiency gap does not support the double-digit spread. Toronto's net rating is a plus 1.2, which is 12th, while Dallas checks in at minus 4.2, which is 23rd. Over the expected 100.8 possessions in this game, we translate that roughly to be a 5.7 point edge for Toronto before factoring in home court. Toronto's just 16-16 at home this season, hardly a dominant force. Furthermore, the Raptors have their own lineup concerns, with Brandon Ingram listed as questionable due to an illness. Dallas still possesses functional offensive structure led by Cooper Flagg and Najee Marshall. The Mavs have been battle-tested in 39 clutch games this season, suggested they have the experience to keep this game within single digits against a mediocre home team. So Mavs plus the points. The next one is on New Orleans, and they like the Pelicans minus the 10.5. It says the edge is 5 points in this game, so Pelicans minus 15.5. It says it's a massive mismatch between the Pelicans team fighting for playoff positioning and the Wizards team that statistically is the worst in the NBA. The Mavs ranked 30th. The Wizards ranked 30th in net rating, minus 10.8, 30th in expected wins, 12.5, and 29th in defensive rating, 120.3. They are particularly vulnerable on the glass, ranking 30th in defensive rebound percentage and 30th in total rebound percentage. While New Orleans should dominate the interior and second chance opportunities, the Wizards all allow the most offensive rebounds in the league at 32.2% offensive rebound percentage, which plays directly into the hand of the Pelicans team that features Zion Williamson and Trey Murphy. Washington's offensive 29th in rating lacks the efficiency to keep up with the Pelicans unit that is desperate for wins in a light 2-game week. Given Washington's minus 11.4 point differential, a double-digit spread is actually conservative. Okay, so those are the two looks for Jackson today. I asked Jackson about the totals as well, but I'm not about to read all that off. So a couple looks on the total as well in these spots, but like I said, I'm not reading all that off. All right. That's Jackson. Link is in the description if you guys are interested in checking it out. Let's jump into it. So I'm only gonna go through I'll go through all the games, but I'm only gonna go through a couple of games that I really, really like. And I didn't even finish making this graphic, as you guys can tell. So let's do that real quick. So Celtics, Cavs, early start time game. We got the Celtics. Line is kind of all over the place. It looks like consensus is Cavs are laying a point. So we'll just go, Cavs -1. Line's been flipping back and forth all morning, though. Only thing that is for sure is the total really hasn't, the totals kind of staying the same, too. I'm not sure. It's just a lot going on in general. But let's get into the game. So we have, let's get into it. So go to my notes real quick. So injury report for this one has Vucevic out, which we know about already. I'm actually probably going to skip the injury report. I actually don't want to talk about it. I know all the injuries, but I don't really want to keep talking about it. It's going to take too much time. And it's a lot of games. So Vucevic is out. Donovan Mitchell probable. Dean Wade probable. Jalen Tyson is questionable. Jared Allen is out. And Strus, who is supposed to be making a return soon, he's also listed out for this game. But Boston, we know Jared Allen is going to be interested. But with Donovan Mitchell being back, it's also going to be interesting. So the biggest thing, in my opinion, that stands out in this game is just the amount of rest. Remember when Cleveland lost to Detroit in that last game, we talked about how much rest that they were going to have after that game. So there's a massive rest spot. They haven't played a game since the 3rd, so they have 4 days of rest. Boston, of course, played 2 nights ago at home in Jason Tatum's return. So because Boston is playing, because Boston is good, they're 8-2 straight up, 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games, 7-3 to the under, 4 straight unders, and they're playing at the slowest pace. I do lean towards the under in the game. I didn't play it, but I think Boston first quarter makes the most sense in this game. I kind of want to fade the Cleveland I kind of want to fade the Cavs after being off for 4 straight games. Boston, historically, even this season, has been really good on the road. They're 21-10-1 against the spread on the road. And Cleveland's going to have another different lineup out there. So this one will have Jared Allen out, Donovan Mitchell back, James Harden in, Evan Mobley in, Dean Wade, back. I'm pretty sure he's not going to start, but without Jared Allen, who knows? So I kind of feel like, I know Jason Tatum's come back and kind of throwing off the chemistry a little bit for Boston. They were struggling to get, get things going against Dallas the other night. But to me, I feel like Boston has the advantage just because of the rest, just because of the potential rest for Cleveland. So I like Boston first quarter. I think that they win the game too. I didn't bet it, but I do think that they're going to win the game. As far as the under goes, I told you guys why, but Boston's playing at the slowest pace in the league. Cleveland playing at the pace in their last 5 games. Of course, those games didn't have Donovan Mitchell back in, but him coming back, kind of throws it off for me to want to play the under. Donovan Mitchell's going to try to, get out, play fast. The other thing is if Cleveland's actually making their threes, but they could start off slow, so maybe the first half under before they, get their feet wet. This game could go up and over the total. So I'm gonna stay off of the total in this one. I do lean under. Cleveland has been much more of a defensive team, post All-Star break. Playing a lot slower too as well, but I like Boston first quarter. That's the way I want to play this game. Boston first quarter, and it's the early start time game as well. Something to keep in mind, especially with it being daylight saving time. So, wanted to make sure I shared that with you guys. That's how I kind of think about this game. Didn't really play any player props or look at anything. Appreciate you, Rudy. That was fun, man. That was fun. Markel says, "Damn, wish I had pushed the button on the Nets." What's up, Super? Appreciate you for tapping in. Prolific says, "Chris, really quick. Let's not forget it's Sunday, and we missed the hour in the East." Yeah, trust me. I know, bro. I was tired this morning waking up because I didn't do a lot of a lot on the card last night. So when I have to get up early in the morning to cap the games, is not the greatest for me. I'd much rather, get these lines as they come out. And I didn't really do a lot of my homework last night, as much as I typically do. Just had some stuff going on with my son last night. Too much says I'm not sure on the Cavs game. I low key want to take the Cavs money line or under. So one thing I looked at real quick in this spot, I'm not gonna bring it up, but I looked at home favorites that were laying 3 points or less, and they have a significant rest advantage. So they have more than or 3 days or more rest versus a team that has less than 2 days of rest. It is a 56% fade to the Cavs, 55% to the under as well. So when you see these big rest advantages, but teams are only laying a point, it typically tells you to take the other side. And it wouldn't surprise me if Boston was able to win this game. I think they are better than the Cavs, but Jason Tatum being back just kind of throws a monkey wrench in it for me. Also, how the Cavs going to respond without Jared Allen and getting Donovan Mitchell back is also going to be interesting. I do love the addition of Dean Wade. Dean Wade, people don't know it, but Dean Wade plays really good defense. He helps his team out a lot. When he's on the floor, the Cavs' defensive rating is a lot better. So his ability to be able to go down there and get some rebounds is going to help without Jared Allen being there. I don't know who the lives go to for James Harden. James Harden assists also at 7.5. I kind of lean under on his assists, but I didn't get there. I just think Boston plays so slow. They also give up, I think they're top 6 in assists allowed as well. I don't see James Harden getting a lot of dimes in this spot. I think they'll play him one-on-one, but we shall see. Let's see. Super says almost got to wait for the lineups. I like Tyson points. Okay. Tyson plays well at home, I feel like. A lot better. I agree with this comment here. Great game to be a spectator. But if I'm playing, I want Boston first quarter is what I want. Boston first quarter. You can get a plus half a point at minus 116 on FanDuel. What up, 77 Figures says, great morning. Way better card today after a 1-1 day yesterday on the Knicks minus 2.5 heavy. Today waiting for your thoughts. Yeah, we're going to talk about that game. We'll talk about it soon. Gina likes Boston too. If I'm playing, it's Boston. West Cavs record in revenge spots at home. Let's see. I'll look that up real quick and then we'll move on. So this season, I don't even know if you can just look at it like that, but let's see. So they are 4-3 straight up, 3-4 against the number at home as at home this season in revenge spots. 4-3 to the over. They won 3 straight. They beat the Timberwolves by 12. They beat the Knicks by 15. They beat the Pistons by 4. And they were getting 2.5. So they have done really, really well in this spot. They've done really, really well in this spot. Don't want to fade the Celtics though. Let's see. JB assists over 4.5. Adam says I want Tatum again, but I only got plus 200 this time, Chris. So here's my thought process on Tatum. And I said this the other day as well. I didn't bet it, so I'm not going to give myself any credit. But the offense is always going to be a little bit more difficult, right? Like, I think that's just the normal part of basketball. So offense, like Jason Tatum, we saw like when Jaylen Brown threw him the dunk, we saw him miss some threes, airball some shots. I think all that's normal, right? I love Jason Tatum. If I'm playing Tatum, I'm looking at his rebounds and assists. And I'm looking at the line right now. It's 11.5. That's a bit higher than I would want it to be, but that's the way I would want to play this. And I do think it's really interesting that it's minus 131 on DraftKings, minus 127 on Caesars, but FanDuel got it at minus 110. So that's the way I would play Tatum. I would play his rebounds and assists over at 11.5 if I wanted to get involved. I think his impact will be, of that. Like, I think it'll be him rebounding the ball because he still could jump. He still was out there getting boards. We'll see how many minutes he play. It's not anything official. I agree with this by 77 Figures. What else y'all saying? Likes people, hit the like button. Appreciate you, Prolific. Tatum should be able to clear his rebounds and assist line. 12.5. I see 11.5. 11.5 is on FanDuel right now. As long as just my eye screen not lying to me, 11.5 is on FanDuel right now. Eyes Jam is so dope because they got it set up now, so you can just click on the prop. Yeah, it's 11.5, but it's not. It's minus 154. So these eyes are off. My eyes on my eye screen is off. Because it says minus 110. It's not minus 110. You're right. I think. Oh, you know what? I still got mine on show opening price. That's the problem. All right. So hold on for a second. So Jason Tatum. Yeah, it's 12 and a half. So the 11 and a halves are gone now. It opened 11 and a half. Now it's up to 12 and a half. I don't want it 12 and a half. Let's see. What up, PYG? Says top of the morning, Chris. Hard to fade to Cleveland after the All-Star break. James Harden also playing great lately. Yeah, he's been hooping. Terrell likes the Tatum look as well. Money coming in on Cleveland for sure. Interesting. Yeah, this is what is it now? It's let's just see real quick. It's Cleveland -1.5. Total still coming down though. Kind of think under too. Like I think I play under before I play side. That's my thought process in this one. Let's keep going. Next game up is the Knicks and the Lakers. The next one I wanted to talk about, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on the rest of them too. So this actually came down to 2.5 earlier, and I was thinking to myself, I'm not sure who's putting their hard-earned money on the Lakers, but I definitely want their money. And it's actually down to 2. It looks like it's down to 2.5 again. Let me just double check real quick. I feel like my eye screen going crazy. Yeah, 2.5 -118 on DraftKings right now. So it came down to 2.5, and then it went back up to 3.5, and now it's come back down to 2.5 again. Man, this is not, your Kobe and Shaq Lakers from the early 2000s. Man, I like the Knicks in this spot. I think you take the Knicks today, you fade them tomorrow. That's the way I kind of think about the Knicks. So I just want to double check injury report real quick. So. Lakers do have Braun listed as questionable. Maxi Kleber is listed as questionable. The Knicks got Landry Shamet listed as questionable, and Deuce is out. So and Aiden is off the report as well. So I mean, maybe Braun plays, and then you can get a better number. I actually want Braun in if I want the Knicks, honestly, because I think it makes it worse. So Knicks are playing 4th and 6. We know that this season they've not been good on the road, just 12-18-1 against the number. But I did some digging this morning with the Knicks being 12-18-1 on the road. They have covered. They've won and covered. 3 straight road games. They're 6-1 straight up, 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 on the road. So I think just because they started the season off so bad, like that's been at least the narrative that I think I've kind of talked myself into with the Knicks. Is I'm a little hesitant to lay points with them on the road. But they got a big win against Denver the other day. The Lakers just lost to Denver. That game, of course, was with Denver on the second leg of back-to-back. But Denver's been good on second leg of back-to-backs. Then you start looking at the spot for the Lakers. It's not a great spot either for them. 3rd and 4, 4th and 6. 7th game in 11 nights for the Lakers. Like, I think that this is a phase spot for the Lakers. Here's the other thing, right? The Lakers are 2-7 against the spread as a home dog this season, and we've seen it all. With them this season, they beat up on the teams that are worse than them, and then they lose against the teams that have a better record than them. Versus teams with a record that's worse than the Lakers are 32-17 straight up. 26-1-2 against the number, and they win by about 3 points per game. If you look at the Lakers against a team that has a record that's better than them, they're 3-7 straight up, and against the spread, they lose by an average of 10 points. They have lost and failed to cover 5 straight in this spot, and 7 of their last 8 if they are playing against a team that has a better record. Even in the 2 games where the Lakers were playing with Bron, Luka, and Austin Reeves, against a team that had a better record, it's actually happened twice. They're 0-2 straight up and against the spread. You got the loss last month, against the Celtics, where LeBron came out and said, they're a playoff team and we're not. And then earlier this week against the Nuggets, right? Same situation. So even if Bron plays, I think if Bron plays, I kind of like the Knicks even more. Lakers have actually lost 12 straight and against the spread as dogs, either at home or on the road when you combine both of those. And then the Knicks are just playing better basketball current time as well. They're first in defensive rating last 5 games, 5th strongest strength of schedule, 6th in offensive rating. The Lakers are 5th in offensive rating and 7th in defensive rating. So their numbers haven't been bad, but they played the second easiest strength of schedule, right? You think about who the Lakers have beaten recently. They got a win in there against the Pelicans. They just beat the Pacers. Who else did they beat? They beat I don't know, some sorry teams in general. They just, they every time you talk about the Lakers, they are on a losing streak because they played against good teams, or they're not really talking about them at all because they played against some bad teams. So I do like the Knicks in this spot. You can get the 2.5 right now, -118 on DraftKings. Money line, I think it's like -145, -150. I'm with you, 77 figures. I like the Knicks in this spot. I think the Lakers get smoked again. Also, it's something to say about Lakers not being able to score against teams that don't allow a lot of points in the paint, because the Lakers aren't the greatest three-point shooting team, as we know, on the full season. So I do like the Knicks in this spot. Give me the Knicks in this game. This is game number 2. Short home dog, but I think the Lakers get the job. I think the Knicks get the job done today. I think they do. I do kind of, like, from a player prop perspective, when I was looking at it, I do kind of think that for whatever reason, Karl-Anthony Towns really struggles with whatever JJ Redick puts together. So if you go in and look at, matter of fact, I'll bring this up on the screen real quick, because I didn't play it just because I like the Knicks more than I like Karl-Anthony Towns under his points. But if we go in and look at it really quickly, go to Outlier. There's a link in the description if you guys are interested in checking out Outlier. If we go to Outlier, I'm going to just hit refresh real quick. And we look at Karl-Anthony Towns and his games where he's been coached, where JJ Redick is coached against him. Whatever reason, Big Purr don't be doing nothing, man. Absolutely nothing. His points were sitting at 17.5 when I looked earlier. See if I can just get this a little real quick. All right, here we go. So Karl-Anthony Towns, looking at his points prop under 17. I kind of think OG Anunoby has a big game. I like the way OG scores against the Lakers defense. Defensive flaws, I guess, is what I would say. So 17.5, you can see for Karl-Anthony Towns is listed here. He's just been struggling in general, right? Only over in one of his last 6 games. You can see that this opened up at, dang, I didn't even realize this, 17. It opened at 18.5. I saw it opened at 19.5. I saw 18.5. I didn't even know it came down to 17.5. But this is why I kind of would want to be on. So if we go here and we just click on head-to-head matchups, you can see the last 3, right? These are the ones going back to last season. He's really struggled, even at home. Like, this was the game that the Lakers won and beat them when Luka got traded, the same night that Luka got traded. And then when they went to LA, he struggled in that game. And then early this season, the Knicks did beat the Lakers, but he didn't do much in that game either. Minutes have, been consistent, just not really doing a lot. So Karl-Anthony Towns under his 17.5 points. I think it's a big game for OG and Anunoby in this game. Maybe some Brunson assists, because I do expect the Lakers to be pretty aggressive with Jalen Brunson. Probably send some double teams at him to get the ball out of his hands. Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and OG and Anunoby should feast in this spot, in my opinion. So that's my thought process on this game. Knicks and OG over his points, Karl-Anthony Towns under his points. Let's go back to the top and see what you guys are thinking. Jay Carter says he likes the Knicks. Extremely profitable for me with Boston. Derek White and JB defensive props. Lakers 0-12 straight up. ATS is a dog. No thanks. Knicks all day. We agree. Adams says Brunson 8 assists in this one, plus 104. I like that. I do like that a lot. I think that they'll be aggressive with him. It makes sense. What's up, Roman? Appreciate you for tapping in. Brunson takes them Luka matchups personal. Bing bong. Cat rebounds. He has been rebounding the ball a lot. I should have kept the graphic up because I did look at his rebounds. That makes a lot of sense, especially if you expect the Lakers to struggle offensively. Let's see. Everybody like the Knicks though. I don't like that. How about that LeBron fake injury and Luka beefing with the coach? Too much drama in LA for Adam. Okay, I agree with that. Who was partying last night? Knicks, Lakers. Hopefully not the Knicks. Knicks are coming off an absolute, beatdown of the Denver Nuggets. We got to keep that, in the front of our minds as well. But I think they get the job done. I think the Knicks got the Clippers tomorrow. I think the Clippers can give the Knicks fits tomorrow. And the Knicks, I do expect the Knicks to be laying, some points, maybe not a lot, but they are better than the Clippers. I like the Clippers tomorrow. It's a bad spot for the Knicks tomorrow, but the Knicks today though, for sure. Luka catching bodies, OG, Mikal gonna pressure him. If no LeBron, that is a fact. Let's see. Young Man Travel says, do we expect Cat to have a good game, especially with Aiden on him? No. Let's see. I take Brunson points over his assists. He's a score first point guard. The reason his assists are up last few games is because of the defense. Lakers aren't good enough to force him into passes. I think you can just send extra people though. So I disagree with this comment. I've seen JJ Redick be super aggressive with him with other ball dominant players to force the ball out of their hands. Love OG, especially if LeBron is guarding him. He gets whatever he wants. I agree with that. Knicks money line. Yes, sir. OG points and rebounds for super. Josh Hart rebounds, not bad. Yeah, Josh Hart played against the Lakers as well. All right, let's keep going. Hit the like button for me if you can. Run them likes up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys have not, especially if you find the information helpful. And yeah, let's keep going. So next game up, Hornets and the Suns. Suns getting 4.5 points now. This was at 3.5 last night. They are, let's see what I got here as far as this game goes. As far as injury report goes, we do have, let's just double check it real quick. Charlotte has Salam listed as out, which I don't think he played in the last couple games. And then for Phoenix, no Dylan Brooks, no Jordan Goodwin, and Mark Williams continues to be out as well. So a couple different ways I feel like you can kind of attack this game, honestly. If we go and look at just like the situational stuff, I actually had some systems that like kind of helped me cap this game pretty quickly. So just outside of the system, Charlotte's 22 and 11 against the spread on the road, 18 and 15 straight up on the road, and 9-1 against the number in their last 10 games. You got a Phoenix team that's really struggling, 3-6 ATS, 3-6-1 ATS in their last 10 games. Just kind of catching these two teams at at the wrong time. So Charlotte did well. Actually, this is the first game that they played all season. So Charlotte, of course, coming off a loss to Miami, gave up 128 points. I don't think that Phoenix has the offense to be able to score the ball like that, which is why this total is a tad bit lower. This is the first road game for Charlotte in quite a while outside of the Boston game. But they're rested, right? Got a day of rest. Charles Lee, I was encouraged by what I heard from Charles Lee after the game. He said, after he did his media post-game interview, the players are already talking about, things that they could do better. And they were just really locked in. So I love to hear that. If you want Charlotte in the spot. Now, the Phoenix Suns, not in the greatest spot, right? They had yesterday off, but before that, they had played back-to-back games. So this is 3rd and 4th and 6. Really struggled to beat the New Orleans Pelicans. Only beat them by 2. Didn't cover that spread against the Bulls. Also lost that game outright. So when we look at the Phoenix Suns, and the Charlotte Hornets, Charlotte has just been statistically a lot better in pretty much everything, right? Offensive rating, defensive rating, both top 5. Phoenix bottom, half of the league in offensive and defensive rating. They're also playing super slow, which Phoenix team total under is something that I would not overlook as well. I know Jalen Green had a big game against the Pelicans after, really stinking it up the night before, but I think he goes back to struggling in this spot. So he had 25 points, but he still shot just 8 for 17. 3 for 9 from the 3-point line, and this was coming off a game where he had a really good matchup against Chicago. Chicago's not a good defensive team, but even in that game, this was the game that he shot 5 for 20 and 1 for 8 from the 3-point line. So I think Charlotte's gonna really struggle to score. I think Phoenix gonna really struggle to score the basketball. Offensively, I don't think they've gotten to like 115, but one time in their last 8 games, and that was against the Pelicans defense. So I like Charlotte in this spot. Outside of that, I like the Charlotte doesn't have a look ahead spot. They play Portland, but they got tomorrow off before playing them on Tuesday. And as far as system goes, I had one that was active, a couple that were active on Charlotte. The first one was teams that exerted a lot of energy in their last game. So this was Phoenix, right? Laying a short number, so they were 5-point favorites or less. They won the game by less than 5. Since 2020, it says to fade those teams, 59% on Charlotte in this spot. And even if they're at home. And then the other one was road favorites coming off a loss, facing a team that's coming off a win, and you have less wins than them. Because we got to remember that Charlotte is only 32 and 32. Phoenix is 36 and 27. So I think them being a favorite in this spot makes a lot of sense as well. 58% trend that backs the Charlotte Hornets in this spot. I think they get the job done in this game. They've just been so good covering the spread recently. So I like Charlotte in this one. Nice little bounce back spot for them here. It's my thought process. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Not as much on this game. Suns will turn into a wrestling match. Suns plus the 4.5. So 7 figures on the opposite side. I disagree. Should be a Charlotte spot. Adam says system play for me here. Igu under his 7.5 rebounds. Those are the other thing I was thinking about, because that anybody rebounds against Diabate, absolutely. It says under 7.5. Just look at opposing center rebounds for Charlotte. They have almost held every center under their prop. I like this too, Adam. I do like that as well. I said it was a couple ways you could bet this game. I'm always looking to take the opposing center under their rebounds going against the Charlotte team. They just don't give up a lot of rebounds at all. We talked about where under his, 10 and a half? He finished with 4 in that last game, and he played 30 minutes. They just don't. It's going to be hard for Charlotte, for Phoenix to score the basketball here, even at home. JC says, Suns sneaky backdoor cover here. Also, side note, Brooks versus LaMelo. Both of them need to be taken off the road. I don't know, man. I don't know how much Dylan Brooks was doing wrong, but I don't know if it's a backdoor cover either. I think they run away with this one. Adam says Knicks Hornets money line parlay plus 153. Okay. Parlays on Sunday make my skin crawl. Parlays in general make my skin crawl. All right, those are the 3 games I like the most. There's some other thoughts that I have. Let's get to them real quick before these games start. So, all right. So let's go through them. So Boston, Cleveland, New York, LA, we talked about. Detroit, Miami. 77 Figure said this in the chat earlier. I do think you got to kind of wait on the injury report in this game. So because Cade missed the game yesterday, could he return? Absolutely. But could they hold him out? I think they absolutely could as well. So I'm not in a rush to bet on Detroit and Miami. I do know that Wiggins is listed out. There's no Norm Powell. Fontecchio is also out. So I kind of lean under. Total is sitting at 230, and I think it's going up. Yeah, 230 and a half on DraftKings. On ESPN Bet, I'm sorry, and DraftKings got 230 and a half. I kind of think that this one goes under. Detroit is in a pretty bad situational spot. Now, granted, they've lost 3 straight games. They have revenge against Miami. I talked about that yesterday because they did lose the last time that they were playing Miami, coming off a terrible loss where they got outscored by like 26 points in the second half yesterday after they won the first quarter and first half ATS. And then I think they had a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter and lost the game outright. Just kind of let go of the rope yesterday, probably looking ahead to this game. So their second leg of back-to-back, third and fourth and sixth. I think that hurts Detroit's defense. I think it hurts Detroit's offense. And then Miami, I'm just expecting them to cool off a little bit. Remember, last time we saw them play, they played Charlotte, and they were smoking hot, especially Tyler Hero in that game. So it is third and fourth and sixth for Miami as well. I think we see some really good defense. These are 2 top defensive rated teams. 230 and a half feels a tad bit too high for me. If K gets ruled out, I expect the total to go down even more. So that's the way I would look in this one. I do have a system on the under as well. Let me see I didn't write down the actual hit rate for this one. Let me see what the hit rate is. But I had a system on the under. Under just makes sense to me. Yes, 11 and 4 to the under. 73.3%. And this is since 2020. So looking at teams that have a 60% win percentage, just coming off 3 straight losses and being unrested. So that's active on the under. 230 and a half is the total in this one. That's what I would bet in this one. I think I would stay away from the side. Let's see. What up, AOD? Appreciate you for tapping in. Jay Carter says Spurs -5. We'll talk about it in a second. Detroit don't look right lately. The gig might be up. Yeah, they have started to. I mean, you can't really fault them too much, right? Yes, they were supposed to win yesterday, but I think they're starting to get exposed. Like Detroit isn't a team that's going to score the basketball. They JB Bigstaff talked about this yesterday. He said they cheated the game, right? Just kind of got away from their identity. Their identity is to play defense because they don't have a lot of offensive talent on this team outside of Cade. And Cade wasn't on the floor yesterday, so they were playing to their identity, and then they just thought it was sweet. And Brooklyn said, you know what, let's end this 10-game losing streak, and they couldn't score the basketball no more. So Detroit, as good as they are with Cade offensively, they're not they still inconsistent. So another reason why I like the under in this spot. And I think San Antonio's exposed their offense for sure. Because if they can't score in the paint, it's difficult for them. It's really, really difficult. Cade not getting downhill, throwing those oops to Duren. Like you can't really rely on Duncan Robinson for real to hit a bunch of threes. Not every single game. Even Ron Holland. I talked about Ron Holland yesterday. Ron Holland had 6 points yesterday. He did only play 18 minutes, but even the bench players, right? And then you think about, I think Thompson is out for sure, right? Like he doesn't have a timetable for his return. That don't fare well for them. That don't fare well at all. A team that still kind of needs some depth. Let's see. What else y'all saying? Sprinkle K triple double, just a sprinkle. Noah Sir trying to figure out who can exploit that. A lot of people, in my opinion. Tyler Hero, was Jaime Jaquez Jr. I was looking at his points prop today. I don't want to play a lot of overs in the Detroit and Cleveland in the Detroit Miami game, especially with Detroit coming off 3 straight losses. I think they lock in defensively in this game. I like that as an under piece as well. All right, y'all getting ahead of me, so I'm gonna keep going because y'all keep going. So Dallas and Toronto. I actually thought so. Jackson likes the Dallas plus the points. I actually think that if Brandon Ingram plays, shoot, I think if Brandon Ingram plays this one, I kind of think it's hard to bet Toronto like this big of a spread, but this is one I kind of think Toronto can run away with this game. I was looking at just the situational spot here. I just want to check real quick and see what the Raptors are. The Raptors are only 8-14 against the spread at home this season. They won by an average of 3 points. If they've been a double-digit favorite, they've only covered 1 of the 3 times. That came against the Wizards at the beginning of the season, back on November the 21st. They won that game by 30. But since then, they beat the Raptors by 10. They beat the Jazz by 7. They were laying 11.5 and 10.5 in those spots. Both of those games went under. So this is one where I had a system that was on home favorites laying more than 7.5, coming off back-to-back losses and having more rest than their opponent, as 28-9 against the spread. So 76% dating back to November of 2023. The system's actually 12-2 against the spread this season as well. It says that, Dallas probably runs out of gas in this spot. This is 7th game in 11 nights for them, 4th straight road game for them as well. Cooper Flag listed as questionable. But if I'm laying, I want Brandon Ingram in. Also, I kind of looked at Toronto first half specifically rather than taking them full game, expecting them to be motivated coming off back-to-back losses. They are 14-8 ATS in the first half as home favorites. Dallas is only 7-14 against the spread in the first half as road dogs, only 2-9 against the spread in the first half with the rest disadvantage as well. So I think Toronto should be the right side in this game. I don't know if I can get there with laying the points. I also think that if I don't take Toronto, maybe a Dallas team total under 109.5. Toronto has played a hell of a strength of schedule in their last 5 games, the 4th most difficult strength of schedule. Losses to Minnesota. Before that, who else did they lose to? I forgot, but they've had a gauntlet of a schedule, and now you get an easy opponent, in my opinion. So they played the Timberwolves lost, the Knicks lost, smoked the Wizards. Well, they didn't smoke the Wizards, beat them by 9. Lost to the Spurs, Thunder. So their last 5 games have been all against really good playoff teams, except the Wizards, of course. So Toronto first half -5.5, I think would be the way that I would play that game. Washington, New Orleans, gross game. I think if I had to play it, I would be looking towards New Orleans, laying the points. I know that Alex Sarr is off the injury report, but I had a couple systems that were active on the Pelicans in this spot. One is teams that don't have a 50% win percentage. So bad team laying double digits, 15-7 against the number this season. That would favor the Pelicans in this spot. New Orleans also 5-2 against the spread as a home favorite this season. They have covered a big number like this before. Forgot who they were playing against. I didn't write it down. Washington's also 0-4 ATS in their last 4 as double-digit road dogs. The Pels have a lot more rest after the game. I don't think they play again until the 11th. So I don't think they play again until Wednesday. And then, of course, I shared this trend on Twitter last week, but road dogs getting double digits that also have a win percentage less than 45. Post All-Star break, they only covering 25% of the time. So all that kind of favors the Pelicans in this spot. I kind of wanted to bet under as well, but if I'm betting I think the total is a tad bit too high because I don't think the Wizards can be able to score, honestly, to keep up. Even with Trey Young playing, I think he'd still be on some kind of a minutes limit. And then player prop wise, DeJounte Murray, rebounds and assists. I haven't bet this yet, but rebounds and assists 11.5. I think this is a easy spot for DeJounte Murray to rack up some rebounds and assists. He's over in just 3 of his 5 games since he returned, but this is the best matchup on the board. Washington allows the 2nd most assists, the most rebounds in the league, and he's played 28 minutes in back-to-back games, and they don't play again for a while. So DeJounte Murray over his rebounds and assists at 11.5 makes a ton of sense in my opinion. I do think the Pelicans can blow out this Wizards team. I do think the game goes under as well. So those are my thoughts there. Orlando, Milwaukee, I was kind of going back and forth. Both teams unrested, of course. Both teams can submit their injury report late. Orlando has not been good on the road. But they did beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Shout out to my guy Jay Money. He called it yesterday, said that, probably didn't even need the points, and they didn't. Actually went in there and steamrolled them. This line opened at 1, I think it was. Now it's all the way up to 4. So if you wanted Orlando, now you need them to win by possession. I think that they can, man. The numbers don't support it. I said they're just 12-16-1 against the spread on the road. But they are kind of putting it together now. 3 straight wins. Solid, very, very solid defensively lately. And Milwaukee's only 14-7 against the spread at home. This is their 4th straight home game. They almost had to fight a little bit in that game just to beat the Jazz yesterday. That game was kind of close, even when it probably shouldn't have been. Orlando's 3-0 to their opponent team total under when they're playing unrested. So their defense typically comes to play in this spot when they've been unrested as a road favorite. Milwaukee's 29th in offensive rating last 5 games. I think the only worst offense is probably the Wizards. 21st in pace. Orlando 19th in pace in the last 5 games. They're playing some really good defense. So I guess I lean towards Orlando minus the 4 and maybe a Milwaukee team total under 109.5. Houston and San Antonio. This line has moved now. Jabari Smith Jr. is not on the injury report. I think for San Antonio, they have nobody on the injury report either. Harrison Barnes is the only person on the report. And Jayshawn Tate continues to be out. So I'm thinking about this game a lot, right? For San Antonio, it is 3rd and 4. 3 straight wins for them. Big game against Boston coming up on deck, but I think that they'll take this game very serious as well because they don't like the Houston Rockets. Houston's only 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 games. Like, they've really been struggling. They did get a win, but didn't cover against the Portland Trailblazers in that last game. I think what made the most sense, the total has come down from 224 down to 222. I do think that's the right move. Houston, I think that they're going to struggle to score. I don't know what their team total opened at, but it's 110.5. It was minus 124 on DraftKings. I think a lot of minus 109.5 are out there. I would just play their team total under. I expect San Antonio to be good. Here's the thing, though. Like, when I really get in my bag on this game, I think San Antonio is in a little bit of a vulnerable spot. Because I mentioned 3rd game in 4 nights. They've played against 2 back-to-back very physical teams. Remember, they beat Detroit, but that was a physical game. Then they played the Clippers. That was also a physical game. So I think that they can bring some physicality in this game. They haven't had to travel, since they won their last game. I do think that Houston's pace is going to slow this down. I expect Houston to struggle to score the basketball. I think San Antonio early in this spot makes the most sense. Houston, if San Antonio kind of ran out of gas late, it wouldn't surprise me in this spot. I think San Antonio, we know that they've been the best first quarter team in the NBA. I think San Antonio early makes the most sense. I don't know what Houston's going to do in the second half, but I kind of like San Antonio early. I didn't bet it. I don't even know what the number is. Probably first quarter minus 1.5, first quarter minus 2 or something like that. I think that's the best way to play this game. San Antonio just really good early, and they did not play good early against the Clippers. Remember, they were down, 20, 25 points at the end of the first quarter, at the end of the first half. So I think they bounced back at the beginning of the game in this spot. So San Antonio early would be my thought process. In that game, went over Charlotte, Phoenix, Indiana, Portland. Absolutely nothing for me there. I don't care about that game. And Chicago, San Antonio, nothing on that game either. However, I do kind of, because Buzelis and Giddey are listed as questionable. I think Sacramento has a regular injury report. So Buzelis, Giddey, Patrick Williams, Jalen Smith, all listed as questionable. The line's getting shorter though, because I think it was 3.5 in favor of Chicago. It's come down to 2.5. Sacramento has all the regulars out. No Zach LaVine, no Sabonis, no Keegan Murray, no DeAndre Hunter. I had a system that's on the under. So the system is so since the 2016 season, excluding the COVID season, a team that were laying less than 5 points in their last game and won by less than 5 points. This is on Chicago, of course. And they won that game, and they have at least 1 day's of rest in their favorite in their next game. 55% to the under, 57% fade of the Bulls in this spot as well. I'm not putting my money on Sacramento though, but yeah, I think I like the under. I think the totals are a tad bit too high. Some of these totals with poor offenses, kind of like the Washington and Pelicans game today, I think that one goes under. I think Tommy said that in the chat as well. Yesterday was Jazz and Bucks. That game stayed well underneath the total. I think that was like 234.5. I talked about that on Jay Money Show. So I kind of think that this one goes under. Chicago, Sacramento. If I'm looking for a late night bet, if I've done well, I probably put a little something on this under in this game. That's my thought process on that one. All right, I got to get ready to jump off here because I do want to see this whole Cleveland and Boston game, and I'm probably gonna bet Boston first quarter too. So I want to go see that. Let's see. Yeah, 7-11 is kind of crazy. But it's a lot of spots coming up that's 7-11. I was going through my notes earlier. It's a lot of 7-11 spots coming up. Fatigue is about to set in. Kind of gave y'all one for tomorrow, but I got a 7-11 spot for a 7th game and 11 night spot for the next. Shoot, let me just look all the way into the 15th. So for the next week, I pretty much got a 5th and 11th, a 7th game and 11 night spot. Just looking at my notes. Let's see what else. Pelicans blew out the Kings, I believe, as a 10.5 point favorite. Yep. They have sprinkling DeJounte Murray triple-double and double-double. Nothing crazy. I like that, Markel. I like the 11.5 rebounds and assists. Remember I said that. Pelicans and versus Wizards reminds me of the Nets game yesterday. Fishy as hell. Heat money line is a lock. Man, we don't use that lock word around here. Appreciate you, F. Young. Says, great work, Chris. Let's cash. What's up, G421? Says, back for the season end run. Orlando making Giannis pass the ball tonight. Giannis rebounds and assists over. Okay. All right, so I'll just add to the list real quick. I like the Boston first quarter. If you were here at the beginning of the show, I told you guys why. Knicks minus the 3, Charlotte minus the 4.5. DeJounte Murray over 11.5 rebounds and assists. Y'all pick what y'all like from the short list. Giving you guys what the research showed me. Let's go back up to the top. All right, so that's the first game. Knicks, Detroit, Miami waiting on the injury report. Dallas, Toronto, first half minus the 5.5. Not gonna play it yet because I'm gonna see what happens with Cooper Flag. But that makes sense. New Orleans, if I had to bet it, minus. I think, I would go minus the 10.5. And I would go Washington and New Orleans under the 243.5. Milwaukee. Team total under 109.5. He's playing too slow. Their offense sucks. San Antonio. What is that first quarter number? I keep these because I take I got this on my phone, right? So when my homeboys hit me and they say, Chris, they never watch my show. When my homeboys hit me and they say, Chris, they say, Chris, what you like today? I just send them this page right here. Yeah, you can get the 1.5 on DraftKings minus 105. So not a lot of juice attached to that number at all for San Antonio. And what else? Chicago, Sacramento under 234.5. Yeah, I think that's it. Man. I think that is it. Oh, you know what else I forgot? And Adam mentioned it, right? It was I'm not gonna add it, but Iguodala under his 7.5 rebounds in this spot. I think those are the looks, man. Those are the looks. We do not. If you talk about a lock, it's probably on the door, right? Something that prohibits a person from gaining access to something else is a lock. In sports betting, locks. Ain't no such thing. Let's run it up 7 figures, like 7 figures, man. He says let's run it up. Let's do just that, man. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out. Drop the show link in the group chat, man. Let everybody get paid. Resources all listed in the description of the video. If you guys are interested in checking them out, check them out. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyballer, and Odds Jams, what I use to, do all the work on the card. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's see real quick. I didn't even look at the schedule for tomorrow. Yes, I love when it's a small slate. It's a 5-game slate for tomorrow. 5-game slate for tomorrow, then back to about 15 games on Tuesday. So, y'all enjoy this Sunday, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. All love.